Hello, it is Friday, and you know what that means. We are here live, Heroes World TGIF. That's right. Thank goodness it is Friday. You have survived that work week, and you are going to kick back, relax, and get right into your hobby. So, without further ado, let's get right to it because Heroes World is bringing you TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday, and Friday means fun, fun, fun. We've got an excellent show for you today. We are going to be talking about our comic picks of the week. We are continuing with our creepy comic, scary stuff for you to read for Halloween. Lots of great releases in This Is How We Roll for our gaming section. And we are going to also take questions from you at the end. So if you've got any biting questions that you want to ask myself or Jessie, you comment and we will get to them. That's right. As I said, it's TGIF. I'm Andre and I'm joined by my wingman, Jessie. Jessie, how you doing this Friday?
Not bad. Glad it's Friday though. Busy
Yeah,
work week. Time to relax and enjoy some good books and maybe watch some good movies, television. We'll see.
right on, right on. It's actually felt like kind of a long week this week, and we've got I've got one more work day working retail at the shop, so it's not quite my weekend yet, but I love doing all of this stuff and talking shop, talking comic books. So, listen, let's dive right into comic book stuff. Um, I know you've been a big, big, amazing Spider Man fan, and we are now
Yes.
two issues deep into the new run that Marvel is doing called Spider Man Beyond. So before we get into our little review and discussion of that, bring us up to speed on the end of Dan Slott, not Dan Slott. Oh man, that's a brain fart. Nick Spencer's run.
Nick
Bring us
Spencer,
up
yes.
to speed on how that run ended and what you thought of that. And that ended with Amazing Spider-Man 874. This was 875, but legacy
875.
number 74. Way to go, Marvel, with your continuing to confuse fans and retailers and just about everybody with those numbers. But as the cover shows you, it's the epic conclusion of the Kindred saga, and they tease us with more. So, Jessie, what did you think of the end of this run? Were you satisfied with it?
Yeah, I was. I missed a little bit because I didn't get all the offshoots there was. There was a whole bunch of one shots that just I think filled in the story a little bit more. I just
Mhm.
like to stick to the main core story. But yeah, it was great. We got to see Kindred in the end. Um, Kindred is a new Spider-Man villain, I'd say.
Yep.
Um, it started in issue number 1 of Nick Spencer's run. So we've been getting little inklings of him since issue 1, and he's been showing up here and there every now and then just to mess with Spider-Man. Now we finally got to see the conclusion of it, which was great. And we also discovered that there's not one Kindred, there's two.
Whoa.
Two Kindreds. Spider-Man's threat level went up a whole bunch. He's got two to deal with now. And we talked about it last week, right? I mentioned number 74 last week when I said we think
Yes.
it's
An
Norman
Osborn.
Osborn's children. It was confirmed that it was Gabriel and Sarah Stacy. So yes, it was Gwen Stacy and Norman Osborn's children, which was
Interesting.
yeah, it was very interesting. I thought they got rid of those characters,
Me too.
but do you know what? Do you know why they're there?
I do not.
Because our boy Mephisto was behind
Oh,
everything.
wow. Mephisto pulling the strings yet again, huh? This guy won't leave Spider Man alone. Poor Peter Parker. What did he do to deserve this treatment from Marvel's devil incarnate?
I don't know. It seems like Mephisto really hates Spider-Man.
Maybe it's
So
the red costume. He's thinking that Spider-Man's rocking the red too often. That's too close to Mephisto's digs, right?
actually, we find out why at the end. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it, but we find out why Mephisto hates Spider-Man so much. It may have
Ooh,
to do with the future, it may have to do with the past, but we do find out in this issue why Mephisto seems to hate Spider-Man so much.
very cool. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I think that is going to motivate me to pick up and read that issue because, as you know, I haven't been a fan of Nick Spencer's run on this book. I am a Spider-Man fan. I've enjoyed the character and a lot of the different writers over the years doing it, but I just couldn't get into Spencer's work. So I was really looking forward to this transition, this changing over of the creative team, and they've brought on one of my favorite um well, I know him more so as the artist, Patrick Gleason, but he's also contributing to the plot in this. So there's several great creators on issue 75, which is issue 876. I
Who
don't
knows
know.
at this who knows at this point?
Yeah, they're just sticking numbers on there, so it gets a little bit confusing. But let's talk about the first part of the Beyond book.
Yep. Just to stop you there for one
Yeah,
second, at the end of 74, we do get a glimpse of what Spider-Man is going to be about going forward. There is a lady in jail. I've never heard of her. Maybe you know her. Gina Elizabeth Time.
doesn't
She's
ring a
in
bell.
jail. She's in jail, and this corporation comes out of nowhere and seizes her and says, "We're taking this lady, and she's going to work for us now. We'll take care of her. She'll be under house arrest with us." And then it goes into issue 75. Sorry, go ahead.
Interesting. Interesting. So yeah, I definitely so I guess guys out there, if you're jumping on like me to this new run, maybe it is worth picking up that previous issue, even if you didn't do it. It's a nice double-sized issue, and there
Yeah.
are a couple different stories in there, as Jesse mentioned. But yeah, let's talk about issue 875. And really cool because we've got Peter Parker on the front cover. There's the Patrick Gleason cover there. And then we have a little spoiler on the back cover there. We've got, if you know your Spider Man lore, we've got Ben Reilly, also formerly known, the Spider, formerly known as the Scarlet Spider. He shows up in this run. And, I got to say, first off, Patrick Gleason's art, again, wow, worth the price of admission for me. Super happy to see him on the book, drawing Spider-Man. Really bright, really colorful. Love how he draws the characters. He's got a unique take on how Peter looks and stuff. And it brought back, like, I've liked this guy on his run on Superman. I liked his run on Batman and Robin when he did it. So yeah, so it was very good to see him on this book. And this issue, again, another kind of double size, not as big as 74, but there's a lot of meat to this story
Yeah.
so far. And like, yeah, I really liked it right out of the gate. Like the art, there was the energy to it. I liked the pacing of the story, even though, like I said, I didn't know what happened before. You knew something traumatic happened, and it was really affecting Peter Parker and stuff. So I like that kind of sense of they're bringing with them what happened prior. Many times in comic books, when a new story starts, they kind of forget what had gone on before, but they're actually using this as a springboard to get where this story is going. So I really liked it. I liked seeing Ben Reilly again. Now, the
Yep.
crazy thing is, he shows up in New York City just kind of like out of the blue, right? Like he doesn't call up Peter, nothing. He just shows up and he's wearing a new Spider-Man costume. And it's really funny because one of the parts of the book, it's like Peter is up on a roof and he sees another Spider-Man swing by and he's like, "What is this? Like who's coming from the multiverse again?" I think we've got a picture of that, and
Yeah.
it was pretty damn funny. I thought Because
Here's the
again, with
picture here.
that stuff, yeah, here's him, Spider-Man, as he's chasing. Peter's on the top with the webs, and he's chasing the other Spider-Man. He's like, hey, if you're coming to my New York City, you got to at least give me a warning, be generous and stuff like that, and be kind. So yeah, so it was pretty cool. And right there, you kind of get this sense that it's new, because that new Spider-Man really bamboozles Peter Parker with some new spider gizmos. So right out the gate, like, it almost makes you think, hey, who is this? Like, because we hadn't seen these gizmos and stuff before. So yeah, really liked how it began and stuff. So
Yeah.
for anybody who wants to jump into a Spider-Man story, know that there is a little bit of history to it. Obviously, a lot of history. This is going way, 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 way back to the Clone Saga, but you don't have to know any of that stuff to enjoy this first issue. Do you agree with that there, Jesse?
Yeah, it's a great jumping on point. But if you've been a longtime fan of Spider-Man, there's so many little nuggets. Like, spoilers: Ben Riley's the new Spider-Man. Somebody bought the rights to the name Spider-Man from Otto Octavius, who was Spider-Man before, when they
During the Superior Spider-Man run.
yeah,
Yep.
when they parent trapped each other, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of little nuggets that longtime Spider-Man fans will get, but also there's a lot of new stuff and bringing in the new readers, and it's just a great story from start to end.
Yeah.
I
And
can't wait
again,
to see where it goes.
look at this. Like, I love this image here. We've got the new Ben Riley on the left hand side, and then we've got the classic Peter Parker, and you can see that the costume, very, very similar, but just a little bit more modernized. It's got the big spider, much like the Spider-Man suit from the video game. I thought that was kind of brilliant, because you might be bringing in that audience of people who love that Spider-Man game, and so many people really did enjoy that game and played it and got exposed to Spider-Man. So why not touch that? And I personally really like this particular costume, because the video game costume I thought was very cool, but I just didn't like the white spider symbol on it. It was large and it really drew your attention. But this one here, as you can see in this kind of concept work that Gleason did, the spider symbol is a little off-centered, and it is the blue, or quote black, on there. So yeah, it really, really looks very, very cool. And there's another picture I want to show you guys of the suit in action. Like, yeah, look at that. Like, that is stellar. And if you're looking closely at this picture, you can see, if you look in the background there, you see Peter, and he's just on the top of that roof, and he's like, who is this guy? What's going on and stuff, right? So it's pretty it had moments of humor and levity that Spider-Man is known for, but it also has stuff that you are, gonna be a little bit more heartfelt and stuff. And that these guys have uh kind of a, shall we say, I don't want to use the word sordid, but it's definitely a jilted type of relationship. They're both Spider-Man. They both share the memories. Like, Ben Riley's a clone, and he has demised, he's died, he's come back, but all these memories he believes are his. So could you imagine being in that position? So in this comic, one of the things that I really liked about it was when Ben tells Peter, hey, this corporation bought the rights to you, and they're paying me a lot of money to be Spider-Man. He's like, I need this. He's like, I want to move forward. And he's like, I'm not asking for your permission, I'm telling you. So right off the bat, you get this impression that, oh man, Ben Riley's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
It didn't seem very shall we say, brotherly or fair or anything and stuff like that. And
Friendly.
just, oh, what am I going to do? But of course, in Peter Parker true fashion, they still team up and help to beat the bad guy. So they're still working together and stuff. And that was, kind of cool. Now, if you know anything about the Marvel universe, you know that there's also another Spider-Man, and that's Miles Morales. So there can be multiple people with Spider-Man in the name, but I'm hoping that they do some type of crossover, and not that they're going to fight for the name, but I don't think anybody should own that. So maybe that corporation is going to get some flack for trying to trademark Spider-Man and stuff like that. But it's a very interesting take and perspective. It's not quite, if you guys had read the Dan Slott run where they did Parker Industries, it's not quite like that. It almost seems like this company, they do want to do good and do right by Ben and Spider-Man, because they're like, hey, you can't work that hard. You got to come back. We got to check the suit. We've got to check all your gadgets. You got to get your rest. We've got a therapist if you need to talk to. So it seems like he's got this whole support structure, things that Peter never had. So if they take it in this direction and keep going, I think we're going to be in for some new Spider-Man tales. But you've got to stick around to see what happens to Peter. Like, Ben is super excited to be Spider-Man. Like, here he is swinging mask off in the city and stuff, and he is still that fun-loving, wisecracking Spider-Man. Like I said, he's unfortunately he's almost the same as Peter Parker, except blonde. So you can see the two of them here. You can see Ben on the left and disheveled hair Peter on the right. So they do look very similar. But we're gonna have to see where it goes. We don't want to go too much into number 76, but I'll just give you a spoiler of the cover there, if you guys can see that. And that's Mary Jane holding Peter's hand as he is in the hospital. So we know something bad is going to happen to Peter Parker, and that's the setup for the story. So so far, really loving what I'm reading so far, and it felt good to enjoy a Spider-Man story. I don't know how much you enjoyed the previous run, Jessie, but like I said, for myself, I kind of dipped out of it very early on and never kind of went back. So it's nice for me to be able to pick up and enjoy a Spider-Man book before. But would you recommend this book to new readers or people who want to check out Spider-Man, haven't done it?
Oh, for sure. It's great. It's a great jumping on point. I'm just going to go back to one of those images. Here we see Ben Reilly and Peter Parker. You can tell the difference between the two people, even though they're the same person, right? The
Yep.
clone of the same guy. You can see that Ben Reilly's been through a lot different experiences than our boy Peter Parker. He's more well put together. He's more spiffy, let's say, prim and proper. Where Peter's got his messy hair, he's got his bag, his shirt's not tucked in. He just looks like a slob,
Well,
right?
he's also not a sponsored Spider-Man. That's the cool thing about this. Like, this corporation is footing the bill for everything. So that's, again, we're gonna see and have some actual different experiences. And I hope that they really stick to that and they can drive that home, so that it's not just the same Spider-Man book with Ben Reilly, because then why get rid of Peter in the first place? But yeah, great book. Highly recommend it. As you can see, both Jesse and I like this book. So it's a very good start to this run. So if you guys are out there looking for something good to read, Spider-Man is it. And funny story, actually, because we actually got our issue 76s before our 75s, because we've been having shipping problems all over the world. Shipping is delayed or lost, or people are overworked or underpaid or whatever. So our shipment a couple weeks ago was lost, and it literally showed up this past Wednesday, so quite literally 2 weeks later. So that's why we're talking about 75 now as opposed to 76. So that's a great book for you guys to check out. 2 thumbs up from us. That's a very again, for Spider-Man, I can't stress it enough. I haven't dug the book for a while, so that's why I'm so ecstatic to talk about it so much. And Jesse stuck with it, so kudos for you, Jesse, to keep sticking with Nick Spencer's run. Now it's over. You can continue reading your character. I know Spider-Man's one of your favorites,
Yes, he
but
is.
let's talk about quickly, because I don't want to. We got other cool stuff to talk about today. I want to talk about another one of my favorite characters is Doctor Strange. So hopefully you guys know that about me. I love the Doctor Strange movie. Been a fan of the character, especially Mark Waid's run from a couple years back. Really, really loved it. And now we've got issue 2 of a new series. You guys might have seen it come out, called The Death of Doctor Strange. Yeah. So of course, right when Andre's loving a character, we've got Marvel is killing off the character. Great cover, right? You've got the casket, and the heroes are honor guard walking him down. So again, very, very cool concept. Now, if you guys know anything about comics, when they kill a character, for sure that is not, it's not permanent. They're not killing Doctor Strange a couple months before his movies coming out. That's for sure. But what they are doing is telling a really, really interesting story. It's written by Jed McKay. I had the pleasure of meeting Jed. I think it was last year. Super good guy, another Canadian guy writing a lot of stuff. He just signed an exclusive deal with Marvel Comics. But yeah, this book is very, very cool. He's doing stuff that I don't expect, and as a longtime comic guy, that's a hard thing to do. So I just want to kind of briefly sum up a little bit of what happened in this issue. Not going to spoil everything, but hopefully just tell you enough that you want to check it out. So somebody murders Doctor Strange, right? And it is straight up a murder. He didn't die in a fight with another sorcerer or another cosmic being or whatever. So all of the magic users get together. You got Brother Voodoo, you got Baron Mordo, and they're trying to sniff out what has happened. Cool thing happens in this book. Thing I really, really liked. They all get together. They're all hovering over Doctor Strange's body, and out of the floor comes Doctor Strange. But it's not the same Doctor Strange. He doesn't have the same garb on. He's got a costume that he wore several years back. And all of them, Wong, he's like, his aura is Doctor Strange. Mordo casts a spell. Yeah, it's Doctor Strange. Somebody else he smells like Doctor Strange. Everything. So they're like, what's going on? It's not your astral form. What's going on? And it's super cool because Doctor Strange, basically, he said he took a week of his life in time, and he basically sectioned off and partitioned this self many years ago, so that right in this moment, anytime he died, that this version of himself would pop back up and have a week to put his house in order, to make sure everything was done. So picture this: Doctor Strange comes and everybody thinks he knows him. He's like, I don't know you, because this is a Doctor Strange from years ago. He gets a call from Captain America, and he's like, Doc, there's magical rifts opening all over. There's new there's kind of hostile invasion of different beings from different dimensions are claiming space on Earth. He's like, we've got to mobilize. He's like, well, why is Captain America calling me? It's like, I don't know. It's super cool. It's super original. A lot of fun so far in this book. And especially, you don't think a book about a character dying would be fun. But the Avengers show up in this issue, and you see, like I said, you see these mystical forces invading. So it's a very cool book. It's a limited series, so I definitely check it out. They're on issue number 2. We've got them in stock at our store, but check out your local comic store if you're not close by. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, even if you don't know much about Doctor Strange other than the movie. It's a cool book. So speaking of movies and cool characters, we were going gaga last week over Batman, the Imposter, but there's a really good Batman story arc going on right now that we're both digging too, right, Jesse?
Oh, I'd say it's probably one of the best Batman story arcs since Court of the Owls, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would second that.
I am really digging this. Like, look at this image. It's Scarecrow, like we've never seen him before. I don't know about you, but this Scarecrow here kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh yeah, honestly, Batman Fear State, brought to you by amazing artist. Is it? Oh, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, and I apologize. Is it Jimenez or George or Jorge Jimenez? I think. Um,
Yeah, Jorge,
and
yeah.
and it's written by James Tinian the fourth. This is, I think, his last run on Batman. But
It
yeah,
is, yes.
he has been pushing up and elevating and creating new characters and reimagining them. And this Scarecrow, man, he hasn't looked this vicious and scary since the Arkham games, right? You remember when they re-envisioned him for the Arkham City and Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, holy, that was really cool. But this one is just, man, creepy is right. So, what are you digging about this series so far?
It's actually got a lot of heart. Like I'm finding books that bring a lot of heart, they're bringing a lot of backstory, they're bringing a lot of connections, like pulling threads tight around their characters. Everybody seems like they're part of the same universe. Like did we talk about Son of Kal-El with
We
Batman showing
did.
up and standing guard on the day Jonathan Kent? Like everything seems so connected, and I'm really digging that. The current issue, I believe, is Batman 115, right?
Yep.
115,
Number 115 just came out this week.
just this week. So we see a new character, Miracle Molly. She's going to find a machine to hopefully stop this new bad Scarecrow. And she asks Batman, "You seem so calm and collective. Aren't you scared?" And he said, "I'm always scared, but I have family to protect me. So
Nice.
I know when the night's the darkest, I have my family to help me." It just seems so heartfelt, and I'm really gonna miss Tinian. I believe he's done in what, 2, 3 issues?
Yeah, when this Fear State story arc is done, this is his last hurrah on it, and he's jumping ship to do a whole bunch of stuff, comic content for Substack. I don't know if you guys have followed any of that big news. Very big news. We'll probably cover some of that later on as we learn more and delve more into the offerings that they have. But yeah, for now he's still killing it on this
Yeah.
book. It's been fantastic. Both Batman and Detective Comics have been very good. But I think, Jesse, you nailed it with that moment, because you talked about Batman bringing up. Oh yeah, look at that's the
See, that's one of Tinian's new characters, Ghostmaker.
yeah,
Like
Ghostmaker. Yeah, he's
he's
a
Batman, but he's sort of international Batman, and he's not opposed to killing. But he's come
yes.
to Gotham, and under Batman's rules, under Bruce Wayne's rules, he's like, "Fine, I won't kill, but I want to kill."
Yeah.
So he's teaming up with Harley Quinn, and they're going on adventures together to help Batman on his endeavors. It's just a great book. It's connected to maybe 10 other titles.
Yes. Right now, Fear State's going through all of the Bat family books. And that's the perfect segue for our first segment, which is our official comic of the week. So that's our comic spotlight. This has just been us talking about the stuff we're really loving. But now our official spotlight is Nightwing. This is Nightwing number 85. It is part of the Fear State. And if you haven't been to our shop, you might not know, but we have been loving Nightwing since the new creative team took over, and that's Tom Taylor. He has been writing this book ever so fantastically, and this one is no different. It's part of Fear State. It's the second Nightwing issue, part of Fear State. As Jesse mentioned, Batman does rely heavily on his family, but what happens when somebody infiltrates and uses the, shall we say, the glue that holds that family together? Oracle has been infiltrated, so nobody can trust the voice in the ear, and Oracle, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon herself, has to take down her system and her servers. So who does she get to help? None other than Nightwing, her old friend. And yeah, what a great issue. Start to finish, this issue had heart, it had action, it had drama. It left us on a cliffhanger with suspense. Like, there's so many good comics that come out every week, but there's comics that just hit above the belt, and I felt that this one did it. So yeah, even though it's a Fear State tie-in, you don't have to have read it, but I do recommend it. Even if you're just reading Nightwing, you can get everything from this book. Basically, Dick, as I said, he is going to help out his friend. He's gotten a call and he rushes from Bloodhaven to Gotham to help out Oracle. But that was a fake call, but he gets there right in time to kind of save her. And she puts on her Batgirl costume. She's got a new Batgirl costume. And Dick is concerned because she hasn't been out in the field in a while. And he's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yep, this is my responsibility." Barbara's all about, she's like, "I created Oracle. I don't want somebody to use this against me. Nobody can trust what I'm saying until we take this person down." And this is the iteration of Barbara Gordon where she has had some experimental technology that is allowing her to walk and be mobile and stuff. So it's not the fully cured version that we had prior, but she is still capable enough to be Batgirl. And again, the book is kind of narrated by her, and it starts off with how she says how she used to be Batgirl, but she's so grateful that two brave women have stepped up to fill that. And she's talking about Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown. So this book has that sense of family. There's a really great flashback where she remembers some of the best times of her life was with swinging and adventuring with Dick Grayson when he was Robin, and they would sneak out and basically go about the town. Yeah, and they even changed the retro art style and stuff and their old costumes. So again, you get this sense of history without having to be bogged down by it. Doesn't say, "Oh, go see Batman issue yada yada yada" or whatever. They just have this cool little moment where they go out, they hold hands, and they go out on the town, and it's super cool because you got to remember both these characters, they were kids and they're growing up in the shadows of their Barbara Gordon, Shadow Commissioner Gordon, and Dick Grayson, obviously the shadow of Batman, the shadow of Bruce Wayne, but they both managed to come into their own as Nightwing and Oracle and stuff. So super cool issue. Like the character that is playing Oracle is super smart, manipulates them, sets them up against the magistrates. So if you've been reading this Fear State or reading Batman for the last little bit, it all fits so well together, yet it is so written so well that you could just be like, "Oh, I haven't been reading Nightwing, but I can jump into these two issues," or "I've been reading Nightwing and not reading Batman, and I can still read this and enjoy it." So Tom Taylor's doing a fantastic job. There's Tim Drake is mentioned in it. It's always cool when he shows up. So yeah, I don't know about you, Jesse, but I love this book, and yeah, I can't say enough about it. Sorry if I kept going on, but yeah, I just love this book.
Like I said, it seems like the DC universe is just got so much heart. Like the very first panel, the very first page, I believe, is just the Oracle's voice, which is the fake Oracle, going to
Yep.
all these other heroes. I think we see who was it? Wonder Woman. We see Black Canary. We see Green
Yep.
Arrow, and they're all hearing a voice. And then crackle, crackle, crackle. It's the real Oracle saying, "Don't listen. It's not true. Don't come
Yeah. No, it's
here.
fantastic.
We're taking."
It's a
My
great book.
goodness, that ending.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're not going to spoil the ending, but yeah, look at this. Just cool art. This is a guest artist. And but the art on the regular book is fantastic too. Just really, really love Nightwing. So hopefully, listen, if you guys haven't tried Nightwing and you feel, "Oh, there's 5 or 6 issues in right now, I don't want to jump in," please put the trade paperback on your to read list, the Tom Taylor run. You won't be disappointed. If you know nothing about the character, I guarantee you can jump in, follow this book, and be excited about it. It is some of the best comics to come out in a long time. Speaking of best comics to come out in a long time, let's go right into our creepy comic recommendation. And it's Halloween month, it's October. So we are sharing with you some tales that are going to scare and thrill and chill you. And our creepy comic trade paperback recommendation for this week is Stray Dogs by Image Comics. So maybe you heard of this book. It kind of took uh, everybody by surprise. It was this very cute Disney animated style comic book with these very nice looking dogs. People are thinking, oh, it's 101 Dalmatians and stuff. Oh, but lo and behold, these poor dogs are brought together by a serial killer. That's right. These dogs are trying to figure out if their master is a serial killer. So it's again a huge contrast to the art. As you can see from this image here, it's just like beautiful, really nice colors, and it screams animation, it screams Disney. But again, the content and the subject matter, wow, it's heartfelt, it's tense, it's tough, it's moving. And I gotta say, I really wasn't expecting what this book delivered, nor was I expecting the feelings that this book was able to
Yeah.
evoke. Jesse, what did you think of the series? You read it all in
I
issues, right, as it came out.
I read it all in issues as it came out. I love the art at first. I'm a big art guy, so I picked it up for the Disney-esque art. And once I started reading it, I was like, my goodness, this has. If you were to buy this book for a younger lady, you would have to take it away. It
Right.
it gets into adult subject matter. The first issue we see, what was the dog's name? The little one there in the middle, Sophie, I think, right?
Yep.
Sophie gets brought into this home with it looks like a Dalmatian, a bulldog, a husky. Looks like the dog from All Dogs Go to Heaven there, and she doesn't remember why she's there. And then all of a sudden, she gets sort of flashbacks, and she's like, "Wait a minute, where's my owner? Wait a minute, this is not my home. Wait a minute, who are you guys?" All this stuff goes on, and the dogs try to piece it together little by little, and eventually it all blows up in everyone's face.
Yeah. And yeah, it was
I
it was
also, sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, I don't know if we didn't pull any pictures, but all the covers they brought out, they had to distinguish it from a kid's book, so they brought out covers with the dogs as horror movie posters. So there was a Blair Witch Project one with the main dog Sophia in the center, a whole bunch of titles. I think it was one of the covers. Just a little bit of homages to the horror aspect.
Yeah,
I
and
enjoyed it.
and I think that really is what propelled this book forward, is because those homage covers were so well done, and people were just buying the multiple printings to see what these other covers were. If you get the trade paperback, it has all of those covers in there. It's a very moving book. Listen, if you're a pet person, if you've ever had a dog or a cat and stuff, I would guarantee you this book is going to move you to tears. It's just really well done. It reminded me of the last time I read a book that had starred animals as the main character was Brian K. Vaughan's The Pride of Baghdad. And that book also had a very animated feel to it. And again, it had very mature subject matter, but not quite like this. And the tones of both of these books were very different. The Pride of Baghdad, very dark, but as you can see for this, it's just always bright and colorful. And that's when the horror hits you of the realization of what this person is doing. Yeah, I don't want to get into super spoilers, but trust me, after reading the first issue what the guy is up to. So yeah, definitely check out that book, available in graphic novel. Yeah, you can get multiple printings. Man, I think the first issue went up to 5 printings and stuff like that. So it's probably a book that if you
Wow.
hadn't heard of it, you'd probably just walk past it on the shelf and go, Stray Dogs, ah, what's this about? Nope, looks like a kid's book or whatever. It's not. It's very well written. The only question I'm gonna ask you, Jesse, about this book is they never really um explained why the the animals have such kind of like a short memory span, and I'd always heard I unfortunately the only pets I've had was like hamsters and guinea pigs. I never had a dog or a cat, but I always hear that and you see that dogs they remember their owners, like their owners could go away for 2 years or whatever and come back. Sometimes you see these videos online with people who've gone on tours of duty and come back and their dog like remembers them and smells them, or people so did they go into that, or do you think that was just a story tool?
That I believe dogs have a short-term memory. Like their short-term memory isn't the greatest, but their long-term memory is what you're talking about. So they'll remember a human, but they won't remember what they had for lunch, sort of thing, right?
Right. Okay.
I I think it's just the way dogs are. Like goldfish are just don't have a memory at all. I think the dog's short-term memory is very slow, but the long-term memory, that's why they'll remember an owner, but they
Right.
won't remember where the owner went. I
Right.
could be wrong on that though, so I don't.
Okay. Well, yeah. Either way, it doesn't impact the story. I was just thinking of that as I was reading it. So yeah. So again, another scary story recommendation for you to check out if you want something to give you the heebie-jeebies over this Halloween season. All right. So next up, we have got probably this is one of my favorite segments because I just love figures of all kinds. And here we go for lights, camera, action figures. And today we are talking about Hasbro's new line of Fortnite, the Victory Royal series. And hey, if you guys have been checking us out on Twitch, you know that I played Fortnite for the first time like 2 weeks ago. And boy, did I suck at it. But it was a lot of fun. But yeah, these brand new figures are wow, they are amazing. I've collected a lot of different figure lines. Hasbro seems to be of just upping the game. The packaging is nice. These are all original characters from Fortnite. So we just had up there was that Ripley the fish, the fish guy, I think he is.
I I
I am
think it's
not familiar with him.
Ripley,
Yeah,
like ripples on
but
the water.
on the water,
Ripley.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a cool figure. One of the things that little nice touches with this, his little dome, you can take it off and his head moves, so you can adjust it there. All the joints are seamless and they do not have pegs. So if you're an action figure guy out there, you know what that means. That means these figures look very, very cool. For the female figure, it is, I can't remember the name of it, but we've got a picture of it there. Lynx, yeah. Female
Lynx.
figures usually get the shaft and designs. They don't do a lot of unique body types, but this one is phenomenal. The elbows are double jointed elbows, and like I said, they're pinless, so they click into place. They are so nice. The detail, they look exactly like they do on the game. And yeah, they're these Fortnite figures, they just keep getting better. It's unstoppable. Like yeah, I really love the Midas Rex figure. I don't have the skin, but I had to pick this guy up. Like look at this guy. He is got a removable head, easily to remove. The accessories are cool. You're going to recognize the weapons from Fortnite. A really cool sword, backpack. He's got a holster. This again, for the price point of this is about a $35 Canadian figure. The paint application is amazing. The joints are amazing. If you're a figure customizer, you could do so much with this particular figure, any of these figures, anyways. But this one just screamed to me. I'm really into like the sci-fi and the Warhammer stuff. So I'm like, oh, I got to get this guy because I can definitely do something with him if I want. But great lineup. This is their first wave, so hopefully they continue with lots more of these figures. I don't know if you have a favorite one of these in the bunch there, Jesse. Like I said, I really like this one. Really like the Lynx one too. Kind of had that Catwoman vibe. But yeah,
I
if they continue to do figures this good, man, I might be all in. I might be buying more Fortnite figures than actual skins in the game because I can't play that game. I suck.
So I really like this guy here, Chaos Agent. Like I play Fortnite, so I've seen him running around, but I've never really got a good look at him. He seems
Right.
to be somewhat of an alien hazmat dude, right? Like
Yep. He's only got three
I thought he was
fingers,
just.
so
Yep. I didn't know he only had 3 fingers until I saw this figure. And these images do say they are computer generated, but I would say the actual figures look almost identical, if not better, than these pictures.
100%,
And
100% agree with that.
a
We've
thing
got
I
them
like.
all at the store. We've opened them up. I think I'm not sure if John has a full set of them for himself. I know I grabbed a Midas, and then we also have a set on display at the store. So if you are in our neck of the woods and you want to take a closer look at them, come on in. And like I said, if you're not familiar with Fortnite, just the character designs for these figures and the build of them is really, really nice. So yeah, definitely check those out. And we continually get new figures into the store. So as we get cool ones in, we're going to add this segment quite often because that's one of the, you know, toys and action figures and collectibles sell so well, and there's so many people collecting them for various reasons, right from that little kid buying his favorite action figure to play with, to that collector who's maybe army building, to the people out there that are doing toy photography, which is really amazing, and stuff, and everybody in between. So we've got such a good following, and John's doing a killer job of making sure we have not only the latest but the greatest, and also a nice varied and diverse selection. So if you can't find these Fortnite figures anywhere in your neck of the woods, check out our website, and that's heroesworld.ca, and we can get them out to you and stuff. And we are uploading new things on that website all the time. So repeat often and dive in. So speaking of new stuff, again, being a game and hobby store, we have got lots of new gaming stuff this week, and I couldn't just pick one to highlight. So I'm going to talk about 3 of the new games that we got on this week's episode of This Is How We Roll, and that is our gaming section. So this is all about gaming, Heroes World. This is how we roll. So first up, we are going to talk about a game that is, I think, going to be very, very popular. Um, and I've talked about it before. And as more and more characters come out, I'm going to tell you that more and more people are going to get into this game. And this is the Marvel Crisis Protocol. We got 2 new characters coming out in a 2-pack this week, and that is Moon Knight and Blade, the Midnight Sun. And these guys look very, very cool. We've got Blade leaping into action, 2 katanas in hand. It looks like he's on top of, or some ghouls are trying to get him. And I really like the kinetic feel of this, and look at his facial expression. So kudos to the painter. The sculpt is very, very nice for this. These guys, Moon Knight and Blade, come in the same pack, like a lot of the figures do for Crisis Protocol. We give you a closer look at Moon Knight here, and looks like he's surveying the city. So, not as kinetic a pose as I would like for Moon Knight. I'm a big Moon Knight fan, have been for a very long time. But I think the sculpt is decent, and it does capture the look of the character and the feel, maybe going for a little bit of the Batman vibe there. But next up, we are talking role-playing games, and there's a small movie that's coming out just today called Dune. Maybe you've heard of it, based on Frank Herbert's novel series. And Dune has had a lot of different games, from board games to strategic games on the PC. Well, now comes the brand new Dune RPG. That's right, the Dune role-playing game. So here you see the main book. There's also a player's journal for you to keep all the notes about your character and his adventure, as well as the dice that Dune uses. Dune does use D20s as their main dice pool. So unlike D&D, it doesn't use all the polyhedral dice. And they also have a dungeon master or game master's kit, right? Which you see the screen there. So what are those other books you see? Those are fantastic looking deluxe editions. So they've got the symbols of each of the houses from Dune on there. Really, really cool reimagining of the game. It doesn't play like any other RPG I've seen. It looks like it's borrowing from a few different systems. And there's so much lore that they pulled from the books that it just makes this a very, very good edition of the game. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people out there this weekend and hopefully in months to come who are going to be watching and learning about Dune for the very first time. I'm looking forward to seeing the film. Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors. Really, really loved Blade Runner and Arrival and stuff. So yeah, so check that game out if you are interested in role-playing games, or some people just read these books for source books to get more information, see different art and concept arts, and these are beautiful hardcovers to go. And then last but certainly not least, we have got Marvel Champions, the card game. And this brought out a brand new expansion. I love Marvel Champions. This game is very, very well done by the people at Fantasy Flight Games. And we have got a new kind of adventure. It is called the Mad Titan Shadow. This is the third in their expansion packs, and it gives you more characters, it gives you more bosses, and this whole other threat level. Cool thing about Marvel Champions is it's a cooperative game. So, Jessie, you and me can play against the game. So you'll pick your hero. You'd probably go with Spider-Man. You'd make your
Yeah.
deck. I'd probably pick my hero, and I might go with Black Panther. I might go with Iron Man. And we will play against the game. The game itself has mechanics to do different things against us depending on what cards played. And our job is to either thwart the villain's plan or defeat the villain. You can play up to 4 players against the villain, and that will make the villain stronger. And each time you play, you can up the difficulty. There's 3 difficulty settings basically for all the different villains and stuff. Fantastic game. It's what's known as a living card game. So if you guys don't know what that is, it means it's a card game that you don't have to collect by packs. You buy a hero expansion or you buy one of these expansion packs and you get all the cards you need. So it's not like you're going to be chasing cards a la Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or anything like that. So if you wanted to say, hey, I've played with all the heroes that came in the starter, now I want to play with Thor or Hulk or somebody else, you buy just that expansion pack. So what's cool in this particular pack, Adam Warlock is now a playable hero card. We've got Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. We've got you can see Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. So yeah, super, super cool. Just a very fun game. And also really nice to note is that you can play it solo. So if you want to play just against the game itself, you can play by yourself. It's a lot of fun with other players, and it's not easy enough that when you're playing with somebody else, you're just going to cakewalk through it. No, very, very good game. Highly recommended. Fantasy Flight makes some great games. This is one of them. And right now, we're blessed with having a couple great superhero games in that we got Crisis Protocol for miniatures, and we have this one here, Marvel Champions, for a collectible card game that is a cooperative game. So there you have it. Some amazing releases this week in the game section, action figures, and of course, comic books. So hopefully you guys out there have the ability this weekend to do something fun, pick up something for your hobbies, or just make time to do what you like, whether that's playing a role-playing game, painting a miniature, setting up your action figures, anything like that, or going out to the movie and seeing Dune. So I don't know, what are you going to get up to this weekend, Jessie?
I don't know. I like those Crisis Protocol figures. I Might want to try painting some of those. Like you said, Dune comes out this weekend. Maybe I'll watch that. And the card game. That seems very interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely so many cool options out there. I think I'm gonna try and see Dune. I wanted to read the book. I bought a really nice anniversary edition of the novel a couple years back, and I'm like, I'm gonna read this before it comes out. I didn't get around to it, and it's not like I didn't have time with this pandemic. But hey, maybe after watching it, I will be motivated to definitely read it. But I got to tell you this funny story. So Dune has had a couple of different movies and television series, and I remember way back when I was in grade 8. Um, it was the end of the year, and I got to pick the movie that we watched for like the last day of school or
Oh,
whatever. And everybody probably wanted to pick like Dirty Dancing or whatever and stuff like that. And I picked Dune because I'm thinking, oh wow, this is gonna be sci-fi, it's gonna be like Star Wars or whatever. And you got to picture this. There's like 2 or 3 classes in the music room because that's the biggest, classroom size in the school. And we've got this, maybe it was a 26-inch TV on one of those stands. It wasn't even like a
the
projector or
wheelie cart.
whatever. Yeah, on a cart.
Okay, dude.
And
Yeah.
man, everybody was cursing me. Why did I pick this movie? And I think I was probably the only one paying attention to it. But I had fond memories of it from then. And I own it on DVD and stuff to this day. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if any of my classmates remember that, they were probably cursing my name, being like, "What is going on in this movie?" and stuff like that. So, but just a funny story, As I say, once a geek, always a geek. I was always into this stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking out that new movie and looking into that role playing game and see if my gaming group wants to dive into that. So, all right. So, this has been your latest edition of Heroes World TGIF. As we always like to say, make sure you do something fun this weekend. And if you're looking for something to check out, why not check us out online on our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel? We bring you lots of different content, and you can find us anywhere online by typing in Heroes World Online. That's going to take you to our Instagram page, our Facebook page, and our Heroes World page. And if I could ask you to like or follow and click the subscription bell for all of those services, so anytime you will catch our new posts. On Sunday, we bring you the Heroes World podcast, and that is on YouTube every Sunday. Monday, we bring you the Sidekick Show. That's John and company, and that company usually involves Rob and Stuart from time to time, and they are talking throwback movies and lots of fun pop culture stuff. On Thursday, Chris Ho and company, Pat, John, and Rob talk about geek news on So What I Miss. And on Friday, that is us, Jessie and I, TGIF, talking to you about all the cool stuff that has come into the store and just the stuff that we are loving and that we are passionate about. If you are in our area, check us out. We are in Markham, Ontario, and that's 8601 Warden Avenue. Or if you can't, make sure you visit us online, Heroes World Online, at our website, and you can get what you need. We'll hook you up with all your hobby goodness. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next Friday.